Here's another lesson. Only a few more left, and then we are done with this distance learning thing. Hopefully we get back to real school in August. All right, we're going to talk about recursive formulas. So what we were doing on Monday and Tuesday was explicit formulas, and last week were explicit formulas. Okay, so the difference in explicit formula is uses the term number to find a term. Okay, so in other words, if I gave you a sub n equals 2n minus 3, right? And then I wanted you to find a 4, which would be term 4. Okay, you would plug 4 in for n, right? So you'd go a4 equals 2 times 4 minus 3, so that's 8 minus 3, so the fourth term is going to give you 5, right? Okay, that's an explicit formula. I can find any term I want from the original formula. It doesn't matter, okay, if I have other ones or not, okay? All right, now what we're going to do is recursive. Okay, guys, those use the previous term, okay? So you're going to use the previous term to find the next term. Okay, so in other words, if you want to find term 2, you need to know what term 1 is. Okay, so in these, you're going to get a little extra information. All right, so they're going to give you the beginning terms. Now, they have ones where they'll give you term 1 and term 2 to start with, and then you'd have to find everything else. I'm not going to give you those. We're going to go with the basic ones. Okay, so, all right, so it would look something like this. So it might say that A1 is equal to 5, and then it's going to tell you AN equals AN minus 1, okay, plus 6. All right, so this n and this n are the same numbers, okay? And again, this is a subscript. This is dropped down like this is, okay? So if you want to find term 2, right? I don't know what that is. So you're going to plug in 2 here and here. So you get A2 equals A2 minus 1, and then plus 6. Remember, this is a subscript. This is tiny. This is not an actual answer right here, okay? This is the subscript, like these all here, the 1s, the 2s, the n's, okay? That little itty bitty 2. All right, so then you're going to do this math. So we got A2 equals A1 plus 6, right? So this says take A1. Well, A1 we already know, right? That was 5. So all we're going to do is we're going to substitute 5 in. So A2 is whatever 5 plus 6 is, so the second term is going to be 11, okay? Now, if we want to find the third one, so if I want to find A3, right? So that would be A3 minus 1 plus 6, right? So again, keep this as a subscript. So do the math. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So that tells me to take A2, which is over here, right? And plug that in. So 11 plus 6. So A3 is going to be 17. Okay. And then if I do one more time, if I want to find A4, we do A4 minus 1. Plus 6. Remember, all I'm doing is taking the term number I want and plugging it in here and here. And again, this is just a subscript. So this says take term 3 and add 6. Well, term 3 was 17, right? So we're going to plug that in there. So 17 plus 6, so A4 is going to be 23. Okay? Yes, no, maybe a little bit. All right, let's try another one. All right? Now, some of you guys are going to figure out the shortcut, and that's fine. Just be careful when you use it, all right? So if I give you, well, actually, before we do that, so here was the formula, right? So A sub n equals A of n minus 1 plus 6, and I told you A1 was 5, right? Okay, so we found A4, right, which was 23. What if I asked you right now to find A8, the 8th term? Okay, can I just plug 8 in? Okay, so if I just plug in 8 in, I got A8 equals A8 minus 1 plus 6. That says take A7. Well, do I know what A7 is? No, not yet, right? In order to find A7, okay, I have to find A6. And in order to find A6, I need to find A5. And in order to A5, I have to find A4. Okay, so if they give you a specific term, you actually have to go back and find all the ones before it. Okay, so I can't do this in a recursive formula. Okay, if I want to find term 8, I have to find everything before that. So I have 1, right? So then I got to find 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 before I can find that. Okay, so that's the difference between recursive and explicit, guys. Explicit, I can find any term at any time. Recursive, I need all the previous ones. Okay, so you're not going to be asked to find like the 40th term in a recursive because then you got to find everything before that. All right, so let's do this next one. So if I give you A1 equals 2, and then I tell you A sub n equals A sub n minus 1 minus 2. Okay, and let's find A2, A3, and A4. Okay, so we'll do A2 together, and I want to see if you can find A3 and A4. If you want to try to find all of them by yourself, that's fine. Also, just pause the video. Right, so if I want to find A2, so I already know what A1 is, right? So A2, I'm going to plug in 2 here and here. So A2 equals A2 minus 1, and then minus 2. Remember, that's a subscript. So if you're on your lined paper, okay, this is the line on your paper. So this A and this minus 2 are even, and that negative, or 2 minus 1 is dropped down. Okay, so 2 minus 1 says find A1 and subtract 2. Okay, well, A1 we know is 2, right? So 2 minus 2, that means A2 is going to be 0. Okay, now if I want to find A3, so we're going to do A3 minus 1 minus 2. So A3 minus 1, so it's A2 minus 2, then we take A2, right? And we just subtract 2. So 0 minus 2, that means A3 is negative 2. All right, so we got 2, then we got 0, then we got negative 2. Now, some of you guys can see what's really just going on. What am I doing every time? I'm just subtracting 2 from the previous one, right? That's all this means right here is A minus or N minus 1 is the previous term. So you're going to take the previous term now as long as it's a minus 1. Okay, so if I do A4, okay, so A of N minus 1, that just says take A3, right? And subtract 2. Well, A3 was negative 2, so negative 2 minus 2, that means A4 is negative 4. Okay, some of you guys are going to be able to do it in your head and do it the short way. I don't even like really doing it the short way, but that's just how my brain works. I write it out like pretty much every single time, but I know what's supposed to be happening. Okay, so then A4 is negative 4. All right, so let's get into what this more challenging one. Okay, so I'm going to tell you A1 is equal to 3, and AN is going to be 3 times A sub n minus 1 plus 2. And we're going to find A5. Okay, so now remember, I can't just go plug in 5 in here. You actually have to find all the terms before this. So find all terms before this. Okay, so if I want to find A5, I already know what A1 is, right? I need A2, A3, A sub 4, and then I got A sub 5, right? So A1 is 3. So we're going to plug in, we got to find 2 first. So A2 gives me 3 times A2 minus 1 plus 2, which tells me to do 3 times A1 plus 2. So then you're going to take A1. A1 is 3. So 3 times 3 plus 2 gives me 9 plus 2. So that's 11, right? So then we're going to find A3. So A3 equals 3 times A3 minus 1 plus 2. So 3 times A2 plus 2. So now we need A2. A2 is 11. So 3 times 11 plus 2 gives me 33 plus 2. That means A3 is 35. Okay. Then I need A4. So 3 times A4 minus 1 plus 2. By the way, there's no real difference between putting the parentheses and not. I was just putting the parentheses on some of them for no good reason. Okay, mainly just to show you guys this has to be multiplied. Okay, so this becomes 3 times A3 plus 2, right? So take 3 times A3. A3 was 35. Then add 2. So 35 times 3. If you're feeling lazy like I am right now, take your calculator. Okay, 35 times 3. So that's 105 plus 2. So that means A4 is 107. Okay, and then A5. Now, I want to show you just a quick shortcut. You guys can keep going this way. But again, you know you've been using the previous term here every single time. As long as it's minus 1, you're using the previous term. So if I want to find A5, okay, I'm going to do 3 times my previous term, which is 107, and then I'm going to add 2. Okay, so 3 times 107, and then add 2, gives me A5 is 323. Okay, so the answer would be 323, all right? So again, you guys can keep doing it the long way, that's fine. If your brain isn't clicking and it's understanding what's happening, you guys can shortcut it. Okay, let's just do one more. Actually, let's just jump over to Delta Math so you guys can see what's going on over there. I can show you. Okay, so I pulled up Delta Math just so you can see what's going on real fast. Let's see that on the back side of a paper. Nope, all right. So, okay, same idea. So it's going to tell you. So let's get the highlighter. Okay, if A1 is equal to 5 and A sub n equals A sub n minus 1, find A4, right? Okay, so I've got A1. A1 is 5. The formula is A sub n equals A n minus 1 minus 1. Okay, and we're trying to find A4, right? Okay, so let's pull this up just so you can see what's going on. All right, so if I want to find A4, I have A1, right? But I also need A2 and I need A3, correct? Okay, so we start with A2, right? So this is A2 minus 1, right? So we're just plugging in 2 here. Gives me A1 minus 1, so A1 was 5, so 5 minus 1, A2 is 4, right? So A1 was 5, A2 is 4. Okay, if I want to find A3, again, this is just AN minus 1. Okay, as long as it's AN minus 1, it means it takes the previous term, right? So what this is saying is do the previous term and then subtract 1. Okay, so the previous term to A3 was A2, right? So the shortcut would be doing 4 minus 1. So A3 is 3, right? Okay, if you want to do it the long way, that's fine. It would be A3 equals A3 minus 1. So that gives me A2 minus 1. Okay, so A2 was 4, so 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, then I still got to find A4, right? So the short way would be take A3 because I want the previous term, right? So that's 3, subtract 1, so A4 is going to be 2. Okay, the long way you're going to get the same thing. So A4 is A4 minus 1 and then minus 1. So that says take A3 and subtract 1. A3 was 3, so 3 minus 1, so A4 is 2. Okay, then we go over to Delta Math. Okay, so find A4. A4, we said the answer was going to be 2. Submit your answer. Is that my answer? Yes. Good job. Okay, I just want to show you the other ones that are on here. Now, there's a level 3, a level 4, and a level 5. We're not doing that. We're only doing level 1 and level 2. Okay, so same idea. So A1 is going to be 8. You're going to use A sub n equals negative 4 times A of n minus 1 plus 4. Okay, and we're going to find A5. So let's put you guys back over here. All right, so that means I got A1, I need A2, A3, A4, and A5, right? So I got to find A2. So negative 4 times A2 minus 1 plus 4. So that says negative 4 times A1 plus 4. Well, A1 was 8, right? So negative 4 times 8 plus 4. We're going to be lazy and use our calculator. Now we should be able to do this. Negative 4 times 8 is negative 32. Negative 32 plus 4 is negative 28. Now, my brain is kind of fried right now, so let's just make sure. Negative 32 plus 4 is negative 28. Right. Okay, so that's A2. Okay, then we're going to do A3, right? So again, you can shortcut it. This means take the previous term. So you need negative 4 times the previous term, so negative 28, and then add 4. Okay, so negative 4 times negative 28, and that gives me 112 plus 4, gives me 116. Okay. A4, so take negative 4 times an minus 1, that's the previous term, so that's 116, then add 4. So you have 116 times negative 4, that gives me negative 464, then add 4, that gives me negative 460. Okay, then you still got to do A5, right? So A5 is negative 4 times the previous term, so negative 460. And then plus 4. Now you got to be careful on these guys, because if you mess one of them up, you're going to mess them all up. So negative 4 times negative 460, right, equals, so that's positive 1840, then plus 4 is 1844. So that should be our term 5. Okay. So let's go back over here. What is term 5? We had 1844. Submit. Is that my answer? Yes. Woohoo. Look, you got it right. Okay. So that is your job. I think I told you, I think I have you guys doing 10 of these of mixed total. So just get them done. All right. I'll see you guys on Friday. There's going to be work on Friday. Okay. Bye.